time! Why does making tea take so long sometimes? Sorry. I just finished, I got my tea. Now I need to set up all my shit. I mean, most stuff is set up, I just mean my drawing tablet. My desk is a mess this time. Normally my desk isn't a mess, but I've been working on a lot of college stuff, so it's a total mess this time. I think I might keep it. I think I might keep my drawing tablet on my desk this time. Alright. There it is. Yippee! There we go. Now we can get into this. Gee, how am I gonna do this? I've been thinking about changing my drawing setup since I still use my old setup where I have Clip Studio Paint on my second monitor. But I should probably have it on my first monitor since I'm left-handed. You know what? Let me try doing that. I'll switch to be right back and do all that. Right. No, I guess I just never did it this way because, I don't know. Oh, that's why I never did it this way. It's cause I have my taskbar on my primary monitor, and I don't like that. But I don't want to turn off my taskbar for my primary monitor, so yeah, we're just gonna stay with this setup. I can maybe change my mind later. My whole OBS display ends up getting messed up every time I mess with it like that. Hi! I'm doing good. I'm a bit sleepy. But I'm doing really well this time around. I've been thinking about what to draw today since Wednesday. And I was thinking about doing a little perspective piece. Thought it'd be fun. But I am having a rough start because my desk is a mess and I'm not used to dealing with the mess. I just have a lot of paper stuff on my desk right now. Because I've been so busy. Let's see. I think usually with perspective stuff I try to work out like a very rough sort of thing to figure out what to do. When in doubt, make a tiny version. The good thing about making a tiny version is that I can manipulate it accordingly. Because I will have to manipulate this to an extent because it's not that great. Alright, let's see. What can I do with this? I'll probably make this hand bigger. I don't know, we're figuring things out. Bit by bit. I would like to finish this piece, but I might just finish the line art today and then finish the rest of it off stream. Also, let me open up something real quick. Because now I have a ref sheet on my VTuber. Now I can use that as like a color ref and it'll be really nice. Oh yeah, my ref sheet. Yeah, I finished it last week. Look at this big old thing. I finished it, and it looks great. I'm real happy with it. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's like one of the first... Aw, thanks! I think that's one of the first ref sheets I finished where I'm actually happy with the results. Because in the past, my style had been changing so frequently that like... by the time I finished a ref sheet, it would already be outdated. Or if I finished a series of ref sheets in the case of some of my stories, I would not be happy with how it turned out. But now, that has changed. That's great. Yeah, it's looking a bit better, but I think I want to change the way the back looks a bit more of a slouching look, maybe? I don't know, let's see. Da 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 da. That's better. Might change the angle of the face a bit as well. Let's see. Let's see how this goes. I'm putting a lot of effort into this one little tiny sketch, but I'm gonna make it larger once I'm satisfied with how it looks perspective-wise. Then we'll add more details to it. Yeah, we'll worry about that later. Alright. Come here, you. I have an idea for you. A digital space just for you. Really emphasize that perspective. That's just a sketch, but we can adjust things. Alright. Might actually angle the head a bit. I'll probably just draw over this, but would like to fix some of the lines. There we go. I don't normally do like high effort sketches, but it is what it is. Sometimes you got to do that. Hmm. Yeah, this week's been a bit busy for me, but I feel like it's been a good week. I had a rough start, but I'm doing way better now. I think my schedule change down to 3 days a week for streaming was a really good decision for my own well-being, and so I can pace my college work better. And if things get even better, should be able to start working on my game again. I haven't been able to work on it since I started this semester. And I'd like to be able to get back into that. Yeah, most of the time I don't normally have to look at my ref sheet for actual, like, physical references, but sometimes I like to just check to make sure I didn't mess anything up if something feels off. Alright. That time I drew the teeth. There's always like a really silly looking point where like it's just like the shape for the front teeth and anything else. Like that one smiley face meme. But I love drawing individual teeth. I don't know why. I just do. Just kind of my thing. I might be able to finish this today. I think it'd be nice. I don't know, but that also depends because I do have some work to do today. So if I am taking too long, let's say like my limit is like, I usually like to keep the average drawing stream around 2 hours. But let's say about 3 hours. Gaming. To game or to not game? That is the question. I'm doing great. I'm doing a lot better than I was before. Like last week I wasn't doing so hot. And earlier this week I was but now I'm doing great. And it's nice. Big shot! See? That's a good omen. We get big shot when I'm talking about how good I'm doing. Oh no, what happened? I noticed that you'd been a bit quiet recently. Is everything alright? Gosh. Yeah, I knew something was a little off. You've been quiet recently. I was wondering, like, what's up? What's up with George? Oh no! The curse of weird pee. Oh wow. Well, I hope your pee gets back to being normal. I wonder if it was like elevated proteins or something. That actually reminds me. It was? Yeah, I had a feeling it would be. Because that reminds me of, like, a gazillion years ago, like, over a decade ago now, whenever, my sister was trying to get into the Navy. The only reason why she wasn't able to enlist in the Navy was because she had excess proteins in her pee. But then she got into the army because it was fine with them. Yeah, apparently if you have too much protein in your pee, you're not allowed in the Navy. Like, your pee's a little weird. You're not allowed in. Go somewhere else. Like, it was very it was very weird. I thought it was weird then, and I still think it's weird now. Oh man, I can't imagine. Cause like I need to have like a decently high salt intake because I have a history of dealing with POTS, which is like it presents very similarly to anemia, but it's more of like a blood volume issue. And ew, unseasoned salmon? Oh no. Boiled carrots are nice if you have like sugar in them, but like, ugh. Fair point, fair point. Oh, hold on. And there we go. Yeah, I like seafood, but unseasoned seafood is kind of. Gotta have that flavor. I'm gonna try to make a saltless burger for me. Patty's probably fine, but you had to get special cheese, buns, and ketchup, and the combination was gross. Ugh. I'm pretty sure salt is very important to the the processing process of making cheese. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure salt is like a really important thing for cheese. Yeah. Unless it's like a dessert cheese, like cream cheese or other types like ricotta. But I don't know. I'm not a cheese expert. I just consume it. Oh no. I bet it was flavorless. Big characteristic of the salt-free cheeses is their lack of flavor. The moment I make a ref sheet is when my brain goes out the window. I need to check to make sure everything's okay. Yeah, salt-free or salt minimum cheeses usually have like no flavor. They're usually just like a texture additive, like ricotta in manicotti is mostly just texture. Hopefully when I go back on Monday they'll tell me I have salt again. I can have salt again. They also said I might do a biopsy. Oof, biopsy. I hope your pee is normal by then too. Cause salt is yummy. And salt is also important. I hope I just a heads up. I hope you don't end up having like lightheaded issues because of your lack of salt. Oh no! Oh, that is a concerning color. Oh gee. Jeez, I hope your kidneys are alright. Putting way too much effort into this ear. You need to know when to stop. Pink lemonade colored at the hospital. Nurse complimented the color. Oh, that's great. That's silly. I'm glad there was a bit of humor in the situation. A bit of lightheartedness amidst concerning shades of pee. Luckily, I've never had to deal with pee issues. That unfortunately befell to my sister. Oh, that sounds really fun. How am I gonna do this arm? Okay, so I have a kind of understanding of how this will work. Perspective, man. It's so annoying sometimes. But you know what? When you do it right, it looks great. Oh no! Oh, Wii Sports is so fun. I've actually looked into purchasing Wii Sports for myself, but anytime I look it up, it's like super expensive. So I guess that dream will just have to wait. I think it's especially difficult since most Wii Sports copies are like they only came with the little cardboard sleeve instead of a proper box. So probably a lot of copies got damaged at some point or another. Because I have a Wii. I've had it since I was 8 years old. It's a Gen 1 Wii, so I could play GameCube games on it as well, which is super nice. Yes! The best song that gets cut short so quickly. Like, why does it just cut off? I know it's technically like sort of a cutscene kind of thing, but like, why? Why does it have to stop? Ah, that would be so nice. One can dream. Yes. Rules card. Puzzle master. I have not seen the fan-made fight against him. That sounds cool. Cause like all we got was the silly little ship puzzle fight. Keeps changing the rules due to being the rules card. Oh, that's great. You know, I will always find it funny that his song in chapter 2 is called It's Pronounced Rules Card because so many people didn't know how to pronounce his name. Oh, he brings you into an Undertale fight at some point. That's great. You know what? I'm just gonna take a break from the body and finish the head. Might change the eyes a bit. They're looking a bit unfocused. But that's because I'm not entirely sure what to do with it yet. The expression or anything like that. Man, speaking of Monday, I have a dentist appointment. I finally did it. I scheduled my dentist appointment. I'm finally overcoming my medical phobias. I'm doing it! Finally. My hair's a little too soft. There we go. Yeah, and a little bit of context behind my medical phobia. This isn't like a lifelong thing I've had like a lot of other people with medical phobias. This is a more recently developed thing. About a year and a half ago, I had dealt with a really unfortunate experience with my previous healthcare providers. Well, not healthcare providers, but just my previous doctors. As I still have the same insurance, but I just had a very bad experience of just being mistreated and overprescribed medication, and like it affected me so badly that for a while I was afraid to even take like Tylenol. It was really bad, but now I can sometimes take ibuprofen, like if my chronic pain flares up. That helps. And I use a heating pad during streams so that Sitting for longer periods of time is more comfortable for me. But yeah, it sucked, but I'm finally overcoming it, and it's super nice. So, step one with overcoming my medical phobia is going to the dentist again, because it's been a while. And I need to get my teethers checked out. So yeah, I have a dentist appointment on Monday. And I have to take my cat back to the vet on Sunday for his checkup, cause he's got a head cold, and he'll be just getting checked up again, so to see if the medicine is working, and it is very much working. He's doing a lot better. He sounds better. He looks better. His ears are all goopy because they applied some long-lasting meds to his ears, but he's doing wonderful, and I'm real happy with how that's all going. I actually gotta remove that. Oh, jeez. Why do you feel bald? Hold on. Something don't feel right. Something's not right. I think maybe the hair is just too high. It is. It's too high. Actually, that might not be a good place to cut it off at. We'll see. I need to fix this side anyway. I love this song. For how long it is, I'm pretty sure it only plays for like a little bit. Because there's so many songs within like a very short amount of time. I'm pretty sure this only lasts like about a dozen text boxes maybe. But it's a full-length song, so... yeah. Here we go. That's better. That's a lot better, actually. I think this will look a lot better once I'm able to actually do up some of the shadows. Arms are weird. Arms are so weird. Like, you can't see it, but when I look at this arm, I'm like looking at my own arm extended, and like the bone goes across because of the way the hand is positioned. I'll probably do the hands on a separate layer just to make things a little bit easier for myself. Yes! I love this song. Where Thrash Machine gets to serve its true purpose. To fucking thrash! No, this would sit a bit higher. I know how to fix this. There we go. Don't be fooled by the display of what looks kind of like abs. It's just the way the fat in my stomach settles. It just... I always think about that one clip of Game Grumps from Mario Maker 1 where Dan described Aaron's fat as like fat but in the shape of a six-pack, and like I have that same kind of fat distribution in my stomach. So I remember one time I wore something that showed off my stomach, and my mom was like, "Damn, you're ripped!" And I was like, "No, I'm not! It's just the way my fat settles." Besides, I'm very thin, so like my muscles are more visible anyway. But yeah, I am not ripped. I'm quite the opposite. I'm small and lanky, but I look slightly ripped. I don't got the muscles. It's all an illusion. Like my deltoids are pretty visible as well, but that's just what happens whenever you're small and lanky. There's just certain muscle definition is just more visible. That is how it is in my case. I think I'm gonna change this up a little bit. Probably have it end here instead of over here. Make it a bit smaller, maybe. More perspective emphasis. All that good stuff. You know what? It would be nice to be a little bit muscular, just for the sake of, like, reinforcing my joints a bit better. But, that's a bit difficult because I can't do any sort of high-impact exercises or anything like that. I do need to start working on my legs a bit more, though. Because my knees have been giving me a hard time lately, and I think it's time to work a little bit on that. Just find my own ways to exercise, little by little. Because if I overexert myself, then I lose, like, all the progress I made and then some. And it sucks. So I always take my sweet time with that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to change this face a bit. Doesn't really fit what I'm going for here. But also, I think I'm going to have to change the body a bit as well. No, not free transform. Might even change this arm a little bit. Like, just bring it up a bit. I think it would be better if I did that. You know what? Yeah, I will. I think what I'm going to do, just to make the process a little bit easier on myself, is lift up the arm a bit. Alright, there we go. Every once in a while I think about this one video I watched. Whoopsie, that's the wrong tool. I believe it was Spear of Justice. It was Undyne's song, but the key never changes. And it's a little strange. It's just a little off. Pretty much. But it's so funny. Ah, Shadow Crusher. Love this song. I wanted to keep the mouth open to show off the teeth a bit, but I might have to actually close it. I might have to just fully change the expression altogether. I don't want to though, so hopefully I won't have to. I also wanted to do this perspective piece because I've been drawing a lot of hands in my classwork lately, and I think it would be nice to do some more hands as practice. I don't know, we'll get there. This hand isn't quite right, but we all know the drawing process by now. Never quite right until I fix it. Alright, yeah, this hand is weird. I don't know if I can fix it in its current state. But I have a way of alleviating this issue. I'll fix the thumb. Actually, no. You know what I'll do instead of that? Oh, wait. There we go. I always have to sharpen it after I transform it, because if I don't, then it'll look weird. The line art always looks really funny looking after I transform it, and I don't want it to look strange. Not when it needs to look better. Might actually manipulate this a bit more. I don't know, there's something off about this hand, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. Maybe I just need to put the nails on. Okay, it looks better from a distance, but I think I might do something with these. I think maybe the placement of the knuckles isn't very good right now. That's better. But this is not. Here we go. Perfect. That's way better. I love Mad Dummy's song. It's probably it's just such a bop. I think her song is probably one of the catchiest. Hands. I might actually not have to put it on a separate layer. I might be able to just do it like this. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 I love Asgore's theme. His whole fight song is so good. Hands! Hands, man! They're so annoying sometimes, but I don't know. There's something about them that I just love to draw. I love them and I hate them, and it's... Because I drew a lot of hands, like 15 hands on one of my pieces for my drawing class. 15! 15 hands! If you're wondering why it's not an even number, that's just what happened, but they're not all from the same figure. In fact, they're all disembodied hands, but, yeah. 15 hands! That piece took forever, though, so, yeah. Of course it took forever. 15 hands? And that's not even all that was on that piece. I'm really proud of how it turned out, though. But I do have plans to add even more. Might even do some really, like, interesting little things with, like, adding actual, like, handprints. I think it would be fun. Once again, I'm looking at my own hand for reference. I'm gonna probably make this hand larger once I have a better feel for how it's gonna look. I'm having a real rough time with hands today. Yeah, I gotta do something with this arm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix these fingers, but it does look better than it did before. Ow! Sorry. I'm gonna to adjust my microphone a bit. I think the one thing that reassures me whenever I'm struggling with drawing hands is the fact that my my drawing professor has told me and reassured me that hands are probably one of the hardest parts of the body to draw because they're so complex and dynamic. Like, you've got other complex body parts, like, let's say the tongue. That's a pretty complex part of the body. There's a lot of complex functions with that specific muscle. Like, it's able to contract and relax in all sorts of different ways. And that's how we're able to produce such complex speech. But it's like just this big amorphous blob. You don't have to put too much work into drawing it. And it does follow like a rough shape, and it's very consistent between individuals, but like there's like no true structure to it, so it's very easy to draw. And half the time you don't even have to draw it. But with hands, there are bones in there. There's bones and there's tendons and there's ligaments. But fun fact, there's no muscles, at least in the fingers. I don't remember if there's muscles like in your palm or not, but like the way hand movement works is it's very much like a pulley system, like a puppet, like puppetry, like the actual like contractions and stuff. Like if you feel your forearm, like all of that movement is like really focused in your forearm. So like the movement of your hand extends down further than you might think. And it's all very complex stuff. But that's what makes hands so interesting, at least to me personally, is just how complex they are. And like learning how to draw them has been hell, but it's been worth it. Because being able to draw something like that is really nice. Like if you've ever moved your hands around too much, it's your forearm that gets sore. It's like your wrist and your forearm that gets all sore. Not your actual hand. Your joints might get a bit stiff, like your fingers. Like all your finger joints and your knuckles might get a bit stiff, but they're not sore. It's all a lot more complicated than people are willing to give it credit for. And I think the reason why people tend to forget how complicated hands are is because feet aren't as complicated. And those are our other extremities. And it's like, well, feet don't move as much. They don't have as many complex movements, but they do have very similar structures, and that they follow that same general like pulley system, but they are still built a bit different to compensate for the fact that they are what carries all of our body weight. But hands are way more complicated because of what we use them for, and the fact that we have opposable thumbs. Like our feet don't have opposable big toes, so that's not really something we need to worry about. So feet aren't as complicated for that express reason. It's also the reason why sometimes for people who draw animals, sometimes drawing paws and hooves is so much easier because there's less complexity to those parts of the body compared to human or primate hands. Excuse me. Like, I'd argue that the hands are probably just as complex as the tongue because of the fact that we literally have multiple hand sign based languages, which are just as complex as speech, auditory speech. I don't know, humans are complicated, but it's really cool. I think it's all pretty cool. I feel like there's something I'm not doing right here. Okay, I figured it out. You are too much. But yeah, hands are very complex structures, so if you ever feel like you're shit at drawing hands, it's okay. Hands are a nightmare to draw, so you're gonna be bad at drawing them for a while, but it's not your fault. It's literally just the fact that hands are extremely complicated parts of the body. And the fact that I'm like, I have to keep editing and manipulating this. Like, even I feel like I'm pretty good at drawing hands, but I still struggle with it because they're just so complicated. There's so much to these things. And speaking of, I need to add more stuff to this hand. And since I've been getting better, even now, at drawing hands, like, it feels weird to miss, like, finger wrinkles or anything like that. Like, where the knuckles bend, as well as the creases on the inside. It just feels strange missing those. I think I'll bring in this hand just a little bit. That's better. Look at that. That one little bit of line change can fix everything. Isn't that amazing? Now I need to do something with this face. I think I want to keep the mouth as is for right now, and I might change it. Rather not, but shit happens, you know? Papyrus! Oop. Ooh! Hold on, I need to check the door. I'll be right back. It was groceries. Only a few things though. And guess who I have? Hold on. You could probably hear him already. It's Saturn! My boy is here! Hi! And he's going to be very, obstructive now. So, bear with me. Bear with us as, we deal with this, problem. My boy. The one that is not sick. Oopsie, what did I just do? What is that? Oh, that's the Alt key. Come on, Saturn. Dude. Could you not? I'm trying to draw, and you are not helping. Meow, meow, meow. Saturn, please, stop it. I'm trying to draw, and it is not easy with him in my lap, because I have to hold it with my right hand and draw. I try to draw it with my left hand. It's not going very well, but we're trying. Ah! Something like that. But not quite. I do have something in the mail that I need to get after stream today. Hey! Stop that! Leave my pet alone, please. No, put that paw down. I really wish I had a cat cam. It'd be so funny. Stop it! He just gently pawed at my hand. He wants to mess with my stuff so bad. My sweet boy. Who doesn't know how to just sit still. I cannot draw like this. This is really annoying. Hey, lay down. Yeah, you got eye goop on my desk. Nasty. Hi. Are you gonna settle down or no? I love you, my boy. My Saturn. My sweet baby. Could you, lay down though, please? Pretty please? Thank you. He's actually laying down now. Actually going to lower this a bit further now. Might just try having my microphone a little higher up. See if that helps a bit. I don't know. Jeez. Let's see. It looks pretty alright, but it could be better. Like so. Yeah, that's better. Now drawing the other side is going to be a bit of a problem. I hate drawing like this, but Saturn's in my lap, so we're just gonna have to make do. We just have to make do while my boy is with me. He's so cute though. I'm totally fine with dealing with him. He's very cute and soft and warm whenever he doesn't feel like causing problems. But you see that face next to me? That's a troublemaker right there. He's mischievous and likes to be annoying. I'm liking the way this is turning out. I think I will be able to finish this on stream. Would like to clean up the lines a bit more though. Perfect. And now I know what's missing from this. I forgot the earring. Totally forgot about it. Oop. There we go. Yeah, this is looking great now. Might bring the hand back a little bit. You ever remember, like, your first reaction to seeing the True Pacifist ending? You ever remember, like, seeing Azrael for the first time? Thinking about, like, oh my god, this is insane! What's going on? It's just crazy trying to remember that kind of stuff, because I first watched, I watched Sean play Undertale, like a lot of other people, back in 2015. It's been almost 10 years! What the fuck? Well, it's okay. The 10th anniversary for FNAF is in August. That's insane. I didn't think it'd be that close by, but it is. You know, sometimes I can't believe that there's technically like 93 different endings for Undertale. It's always crazy thinking about that. 93. Most of them, like, there's like groups of them that are similar to one another. Like, most of those endings are neutral endings, but there's 4 pacifist endings and then just the different alternatives. Like, there's whether you decide to stay with Toriel or not, and then there's also the soulless thing. Like, there's just those different things, and then there's apparently 4 different genocide endings, but I'm not sure what the differences are between the choices. I guess it's just what Chara says. I guess that's the only difference. But then you got the neutral endings, and usually there's like 2 or 3 that are very similar, but then occasionally you'll get something different, like the aborted genocide neutral ending. That one, I love that ending. It's really, it's so good. It just hits so hard. That's such a good ending. And it doesn't even have the neutral music. The endings that don't have the neutral music, those endings are crazy. And the ones where there are characters that just, like, talk about their regrets, how they regret not stopping you, those ones, oof. That's always crazy. I think the head might be too big. That's always a problem whenever I do perspective pieces, is that for some reason I have a tendency to make the head too big. Melonhead! Melonhead is no more. Yeah, that's better. That's way better. I was right! It was too big. Nice. Look at that. That's way better. And now there's this thing. Which I think I'll just... You know what? Hold on. That is this layer? No, that's not that layer. Is it this layer? Let me manipulate this a bit. Oh, by the way, a little interesting thing for you guys to know about. I just finally watched Invincible, and oh my god, that has changed me forever. I remember seeing the memes from season 1. I haven't seen any memes from season 2 yet. Probably aren't any yet, but that shit was crazy. I'm trying not to talk about like any spoilers because there might be other people who watch this who haven't seen it. But my goodness. That shit, like, there's just this one quote that's just stuck with me. This one exchange. No, Saturn, don't go! He's gone. He had left me. My boy is gone. I mean, I have my lap back, which is nice for drawing, but I want my boy. Might actually... Yeah, I need to fix the chest a bit. I had a feeling there'd be something else I would need to fix. Let's see. How much does that change the arm? That changes the arm a bit. Here we go. I knew something else was off. That's the thing about perspective pieces, is that there's always something that's a little bit off. Because it's very difficult to get it right. You pretty much just have to eyeball a lot of the proportions. That's what I had to do here. Here we go. I need to let my boy out. I always close my door for streaming, but I need to let him be free. My boy! He was all looking at me like, what are you doing? What am I supposed to do? He's so silly. My silly boy. He is free. I'm just gonna bring those lines down just a little bit, see if that helps a little. Also, speaking of Invincible, I found out, like, a few hours ago before stream that apparently season 2 is split into 2 halves. And I didn't know this. I'm a little sad. But, like, I'm just thinking about, like, my friends who've had to wait since November for the second half of season 2. Because the first half came out in November, and the second half is coming out in March, and that's a long amount of time to wait. I wonder I know one of the reasons is because of production issues and the fact that they've gotten rid of the CG. But I wonder what kind of production issues exactly caused the need to split season 2 in half instead of just like waiting and releasing the second half along with the first, just the whole season together. As I don't like being left in the dark. I want the rest of the season, please. Pretty please. It would be nice. Because the first half, just like, you're left with a lot of questions at the end of episode 4. And, I don't like that very much. I think I put the hip bones too high. Probably did. Just a little bit. Oh, the start of that line was great, and then it wasn't. See, this is the problem with drawing on a little dinky old tablet, is that, like, certain things are just tough. Keep hitting everything. Hold on. I need to adjust some of my stuff. There we go. I'd like to be able... There we go. I think I might do that. See if that helps some. Let's see. Sure, that works. Nothing too complicated. The beauty of Shuffle is sometimes you'll get some very silly little follow-ups. And there's the uber rare chance of getting, like, the perfect combination. Or sometimes you get a character's, like 3 of a character's songs in a row. It's super nice. And sometimes you'll just get hit with something really goofy out of nowhere. You can never predict when the rejected Birdly song shows up. You know, the more followers I get, the more I have to start considering like what I'll do once I unlock different Twitch partner features. And I think one silly thing I could do for drawing stream is like set up a prediction of like, will the rejected Birdly song show up within the next hour? It'd be very silly. Actually, I think I'll bring this down a little bit. Alright, it's time for some wings! Oopsie. I don't know why I'm so worried about cleaning up the inside when it's the outside I need to be more concerned about. Because the inside gets all filled in. I wonder if people will interpret the wings as three-dimensional. I always draw the wings and the tail in the same general way. It always faces the viewer in a very particular way. I've never seen the wings or the tail as like three-dimensional figures. They just overlap in certain ways. It's like the Mickey Mouse ears. They're always facing the camera in some way, just to preserve the silhouette. You know, it's interesting that this time around the white canvas hasn't been burning out my eyes. I don't know how, we've been able to avoid that. I'm totally fine this time around. There we go. Perfect. Oopsie. Also, I need to clean this up. There we go. So nice! Yeah, but now this line art looks so, like, wimpy in comparison. It's so thin and wimpy. I think I'll strengthen up certain areas, see if that helps. I don't know if I should add the bangles or not. Let me see. Let me just do like a quick see if I do want to do this or not. I like them for the visual like accentuation of certain things, but like I don't like whenever it covers up certain things. Like the collarbone is always hidden. And I'm not a big fan of that. I think it kind of sucks, you know? Yeah, I'll put them in there. I'll make an alt. Have them on a separate layer. That kind of fun stuff. We love having an alt. It's always fun. There we go. I was thinking about how the lines were a bit too light, and the lines always look a bit funny if they're too light. I don't know how exactly I'm gonna layer this. How I'm gonna do this. I suppose the easy part is that I could probably just like duplicate certain outlines just to make it easier on myself. So I don't have to worry about like overlaps. There we go. I don't know why, but I just started thinking about the writer's strike. And it's interesting how so many people actually wanted to work. It's just the thing about the writer's strike is that like they weren't being paid fairly for their work. So it sucked. I don't know. My wording was terrible. I sounded like a little kid trying to explain something super complicated. Let me try to reword that. I'm just thinking about like how during the writer's strike, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I can't tell you guys anything about this because I haven't been able to work on it because of the writer's strike." And I was just thinking about like how many people had to really actually like stop working on things that they wanted to work on because of the fact that they were protesting for better pay. And I'm not saying that the protesting was bad or that they didn't like protesting at all. I'm saying like the fact that they actually enjoyed the work but they weren't being paid fairly for it, that's the shitty part. Like, pay your employees fairly. Maybe they do want to work, but you're just not paying them for the work like you should be. I don't know, I was just thinking about that. Because I just remember like a lot of people being like, "Oh, there's this cool thing I'm working on, but I can't talk about it." Or like, "There's this cool thing that I started working on, but I can't work on it because I'm participating in the writer's strike." And if I remember correctly, the deal that they actually ended up striking. Like, the actual deal they ended up settling on wasn't as good as what they were asking for, which really sucked. But it had been so long that they really needed to get back to work because, you know, people have bills to pay. I was just kind of thinking about it. Because, like, I was thinking, like, what if I had to participate in... What if I had to participate in the writer's strike? How would I feel about that? What would I do in that situation? I don't know. And that's an important question to consider because I might actually have to participate in something like that one day. Especially as an artist. Like, I usually focus on visual artwork, but I do have a strong itch for storytelling as well. And so participating in something like that would be very beneficial for me as well. I don't know. Just philosophical moments with Sammy. I'm also thinking about my future projects, like my contemporary artwork and stuff, not just the stuff that you see. I occasionally bring up the fact that I do other types of artwork aside from character art and my own streamer work. The fact that I do contemporary artwork as well. In fact, this kind of artwork is usually just like a little side thing. At this point, it is kind of a side thing. I've been a little too busy to do any personal work. I've been thinking about incorporating some of my contemporary stuff into my public stuff, my social stuff, my streamer content creator stuff. I think it would be cool. I don't know how many people would be into it, but I think it would be cool. I don't know. I like getting people to think and react. I like seeing how my art makes people feel. How it impacts them. How they might relate to it or how they might reject it. I just think all sorts of different types of reactions are very valuable. I mean, my current series of works is on a very, very harsh topic, which is one of the reasons why I had mentioned earlier how not too long ago I had been having a hard time mentally. Because it's a tough topic, and yeah, Papyrus! And I like seeing how people react and respond to my things that I make. I think it's nice. I also like making interactive artworks, which is one of the reasons why I've started getting into making games. But I haven't been able to work on my game because I've been too busy. But we'll get back to it eventually. Aw, thanks! And you don't even see half the things I make, because I do contemporary artwork. But yeah, I've been thinking about incorporating some of those contemporary things into my public work. I think it'd be nice. But the only reason why I hadn't done that before, and I'd never considered it until now, was just because it was classwork and I was still learning. I've attempted to incorporate some contemporary feelings into my work in the past. Like whenever I tried to make comics for a little bit. That didn't last long because those were very time consuming. But I've been thinking about revisiting that type of thing again. Seeing what all I can do. Maybe share more of my traditional works as well. I don't know, but there's a reason why my art has improved so much so quickly, and that's because I'm getting my bachelor's in art and my focus is drawing. So, whoopsie. This is something that I've been working very hard on. I've been learning some professional skills. I wish there was another life drawing class I could take, because I really enjoyed that class. The EP something really done. I won't draw my phone if I don't fall asleep. Hey, congratulations! Oh, thanks! Oh, we're very quickly making our way towards getting that bachelor's, and I'm very excited for that. But yeah, I am really proud of how much progress I've made. Like, you can even see like the super like big changes and improvement in my art over the past like even just 6 months. Because I do work outside of what everybody sees. Yeah, the fact that I make so much stuff and there's stuff that that nobody really gets to see as well. It's pretty bonkers. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. We got the five things. Might actually need to manipulate this a bit. Like, there's a lot of things I've had to really start thinking about and working towards since I'm approaching graduation. Like, that's not this semester, but it's next semester, but I still have to really think about so much stuff. Like, for example, I might have my own exhibition at some point next semester. I've been really thinking about applying and waiting for applications to open for that. And that'll be really nice for a resume. I probably won't show any of the work that you get to see here, like this kind of stuff, but I have a large collection of things that I've made over the years traditionally, and I plan on including a lot of those things. And I have a theme in mind, but I don't know if I want to talk about it yet. Especially since, like, it won't be happening until the fall. Oh, jeez. Not to mention, I don't even know when in the fall. It'll be like in the beginning, towards the middle, or towards the end. And I'd probably have to work my schedule around it just to make sure that like I don't forget about anything, and then I make sure everything's all situated the way it should be. Um... I don't know what to do with this. I think one of my biggest issues though is that I tend to work on too many things at once. I work on enough stuff that I wouldn't be surprised if people assumed that I was part of a team. But no, I'm totally solo. All the things that you see, all the little like custom assets and stuff like that, I made all that all by myself. It's just me. I am all my own. This is a solo show. I just tend to make a lot of stuff really quickly. I think it's the ADHD. I don't know, I made a lot of things last semester in the fall. And I have plans on making a bunch of stuff this semester as well. I'm excited! But yeah, as we get closer to those things, it's like, it's a lot to think about. Not necessarily in a bad way, though. It's more of in a, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit kind of way. Hold on, how do I do this? Yeah, I do it like that. I always feel like dog bass sounds different every single time I hear it. I don't know, there's something about it that always sounds different every single time. My hand slipped. But you know what? That's a good line, so it's gonna stay. There we go. That's nice. There we go. That's nice. I was right. I knew it would look better once I applied the shadow outlines. This is much better. Oh, nice. Look at that. Got so much dimensionality. Oh, hi, Dad! What's up? I am currently drawing my VTuber. I mean, it's kind of obvious. You can see the... I'm sure you can see the resemblance. Well, thanks for dropping by. Let's see. Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah, I'm real happy with how quickly I've been able to do this. I'll come down for dinner later. I would really like to finish this today. Well, don't worry, I won't take too much longer. Usually by the time I get to the coloring, it's pretty quick. I'm able to finish this pretty quickly. Probably take like another half hour or so. Hey! Behave! Behave, father! Behave! That's my VTuber, you know. That's supposed to be me. Oh, I forgot some lines. Mom! I don't even know if you're telling the truth or not. I can hear you guys howling downstairs. My goodness. Goodness gracious. Oh. Well, I don't know. I can't really see the amount of people that are watching the stream right now, but you probably aren't. Let me see. Nope. There's one other person. But regardless, the show must go on. Hey, come on. Some people like to lurk. So, I don't want anybody to feel pressured to say hello. Besides, I'm pretty sure the other person that's watching is probably falling asleep right now. Yeah, I'm real happy with how this is turning out, especially since I haven't even spent that much time on it. It's only been roughly 2.5 hours. Normally, it would take a lot longer for me to finish something like this. Well, thank you. Oh, damn, a tutorial on how to animate my stuff. I've never actually thought about doing something like that. Like, I could probably do a tutorial on my PNG tuber, but that would have to be an edited video because it took me a long time to make that. I think it'd be worthwhile for anyone who wants to use a PNG tuber, but like have a little bit of dynamicism to it. But that would definitely take quite some time. Yeah, I did do my reference sheet over the course of 3 separate streams. So I could do that over the course of a while, but I've also been planning on making a bit of an upgrade to the way my VTuber looks in general. I've been thinking about upgrading programs, and that's something I need to work on. But I don't know if I could do a tutorial on that either. I could possibly do like just a separate, like, simpler thing, just as like a side thing. It would be, I think, probably the most like I think the best course of action for something like that would be if I got to do like a commission of somebody's PNG tuber. Then that would be really good for doing like a tutorial video. So I wouldn't have to make an extra and then just let it go unused. But yeah, I think my current PNG tuber took me, I'd say about 13 to 14 hours to make. Somewhere around there. It took a while. And that's not a bad thing necessarily, but it's just it wouldn't be very easy for me specifically to be able to do something like that again. I will say in comparison, my ref sheets, let's see, I did this over let's see, 2, 4. This took 8 hours. This whole thing took 8 hours. Because I did it over 3 drawing streams. The first 2 took roughly 2 hours each. And then I took 4 hours on the final drawing stream for that piece. So imagine how complicated it is for a PNG tuber tutorial. I mean, thankfully I wouldn't have to explain the program because it's extremely straightforward. You could just plug in an image or a GIF, or rather 2 images, 1 GIF and 1 image, or 2 GIFs. And it's a super simple program. It just responds to the microphone input. But since I have upgraded my PNG tuber so that both the quiet and speaking things are both GIFs, that would be a little more complicated for a tutorial. But yeah, like I said, I wouldn't mind if it was like a commission. I would need to up the price because on my commission sheet, my price for a PNG tuber was about $80 plus 20 for each alternative. Because, like, for example, my current PNG tuber has 3 different versions. The one you're seeing right now is the drawing one. I also have one with a keyboard and one with a controller. And those are all animated now, so I think I would probably have to up the price to at least $100 bare minimum. Because I animate both the silent and speaking files now. I've thought about doing something like that where, like in the future for whenever I have like text-to-speech things, whenever I'm a Twitch partner, I've thought about incorporating a separate PNG tuber to respond with that. Because that is something I've seen other people do. You know, I won't lie, it's kind of trippy being able to hear myself in the distance because I can hear the TV downstairs. I think if I made one with either Bub or Saturn, I'd probably just do still images. I love you too, bye bye! Actually, hold on, I have the color palette over here. I was thinking about doing some sort of dynamic color palette for this, but I just kind of decided to stick with just the regular color palette, just to make another drawing with the basic stuff. Hmm. Now that we're starting to get closer to the 3-hour mark, I don't know if I will be able to finish this, because I would like to be able to do some type of background. I probably will be able to finish this, knowing me, knowing how I tend to commit. I probably will be able to finish this. I do have an assignment I need to finish before midnight tonight, but thankfully it's a small assignment and it's no big deal. No big deal. Oh. Sorry, I'm just thinking about like all the work I have to do. Thankfully it's nothing like annoying or exhausting, it's just more things I have to do, but once I start thinking about something like that, it's a bit difficult to really focus on what I'm currently doing. But trying not to let it get to me so I can actually finish this up. Oh. Excuse me, wrong spot. Spamton. Spamton G. Spamton. Always once you get to the colors that sometimes things start to really stick out. You know, I think it'd be really funny if this song was secretly in Undertale, but like you had to hack it. Because I know there's like a hack ending where Sans calls you a dirty hacker, but it'd be funny if this song played specifically because you hacked the game. But I do think it's also funny how it's just not in the game. Yeah, imagine making an entire song just to trick people into thinking that like this is the song that plays when you fight Sans. I don't know. For someone like Toby, I'm sure it's pretty easy just to make one more little song. Just for fun. I mean, the Undertale soundtrack has like 103 songs, so yeah. I'm sure one extra didn't absolutely destroy his will to keep working. There's one little extra song just for the lulz. Wait, hold on. That's not the right color. Ah, there we go. But we cannot forget about the shinies. Alright, time for the main portion. This part of the coloring is always so boring. Just filling out the big shapes. I know sometimes I use the fill tool to make it a bit easier, but I kind of forgot about that this time. Let's see. everything's alright now. Except this. There we go. This under here, I don't really need to worry about. That'll get covered up. I'm getting sleepy. I'm a bit bored and I'm hungry, which makes me sleepy. It's never a good combination. Might take a small break, I don't know. But we're so close to finishing! We're almost done. Might just be a bit too quiet for the rest of the stream just because I'm tired and hungry. Bored. Imagine if Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 came out tomorrow. That'd be crazy. Toby is known for throwing curveballs, so I would not be surprised if something crazy like that happened. But I would expect both of those to actually be released on the anniversary, since Chapter 2 did come out on the anniversary of Chapter 1. I don't know. You ever think about that Earthbound Halloween mod every once in a while that Toby made, and every once in a while someone brings it up as like an oh my god, guys, Toby put the F slur in this mod he made a million years ago, and it's so funny because like the actual quote is just so fun, and like obviously Toby's a different person now, but it's just so funny. Every once in a while, somebody forgets, like, the context of when that was made. And it's so funny. Yeah, Halloween hack. Let's see if the images has hub. The quote. Let's see. It's the fight against Dr. Andernuts, but it's so funny to think about. Every once in a while I remember that. Yeah, the dialogue. There we go. Oh, I love that image so much. It's the TLDR. I love it. It's so funny. I would love to play that one day. Not on stream because it contains extreme profanity, but I'd love to play in my free time. I love stupid, crude humor like that. It's so funny, especially because, like, after he says that, the original Megalovania starts playing. Every once in a while, it's just such a fun thought. Like, that's the origin of Megalovania. Dr. Anonuts calls you a slur and then Megalovania starts playing. And not only is he an absent father, but he's also secretly homophobic. Who would have thunk? I don't know, I think it's funny. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would be surprised to hear that I actually think crude humor is funny. I don't know, I guess it's just because I tend to speak very proper most of the time, I just like occasionally throw in a swear here and there as like either to emphasize what I'm saying or just as a filler word. So I don't have to pause as much. That's usually the reason why some people swear a lot, is because it's just to fill in those empty spaces so that what they need to say gets across in like a smooth pattern of speech. It's the same as like or Like, it's not an indicator of stupidity or anything, it's just an indicator that you're sorting through what you're trying to say and trying to get your point across. Speech is just interesting like that. Speaking of Megalovania, I don't think we've heard it during this stream yet. Hmm. You know, I'm thinking about that tutorial that my dad asked about earlier. I don't know if there would actually be a point, since PNG tuber programs are pretty straightforward, but I do think it would be nice for the sake of learning some very simple animation. Just some basic blinkings and mouth movements. Although I will say that the mouth movements on my PNG tuber aren't exactly something I'm super happy with, since it tends to not quite align as well as I would have hoped. But that is why we will be upgrading eventually. This is the point of upgrades! So things can be improved. Let's see. Oh, I forgot about this. Totally forgot. Let's see. We're almost there. Almost! Almost! Just a little bit more! And then we'll be able to do the background and stuff, and that won't take much time at all. Almost free! Then I can go eat dinner. Then I can work on my stuff. See, I forgot that that's what happens. My shading and my base color are on the same layer. I never really separate those two things. Actually, hold on. There we go. That should be the right setting. Soft light, right? Yeah, soft light. I don't know why something still feels off. I think maybe it's just this. You know what? I might make that tutorial just because like I don't really make very many videos ever because I'm usually too busy to edit anything and I'm not very good at editing anyway. But I think it would be good for my main channel just to make some more edited videos. I don't know, I just don't have the free time for anything like that because of the fact that I'm still dealing with school stuff and I've got my own projects that I'm working on. But I do have to worry about making more promotional material for Last Light once I start getting back into working on that. Oh, I forgot about these. That won't take much time to do at all. Actually, I have an idea now for how to make the shading look a little more accurate. So it doesn't look like they're just weirdly layered on top. I think this playlist is about 3 hours, roughly, give or take. Just a little bit over. We're gonna hear a loop here shortly. But not if I can speed up a little bit. Hmm. Alright, it's time for my idea. There we go. Alright, now this is where this would come into play. That's also where this would come into play. Not really, but it's fine. Here we go. There we go. Now we got that alt. Sorry, keep hitting the microphone. Oh, look at that! Nice! I don't know, I want something more complimentary. I don't know. We're working on it. I'll probably change the line art for this to white. Might just change the color for that to something else. Something lighter. Yeah, let me undo that. Let's see how this would work. That's better. Let me do this. And then mosaic, because I like the pixels. I like the squares. The squares! Let's see how it might look with a filter. Ooh! No, that's too much. That's nice. I don't know what size mosaic that is, though. Actually, I think I might copy paste and then ooh, look at that. That's cool. Also, we've got some fixing to do. Oops. I'll fix the lighting here too. Just to be patient. Yeah, that's better. Alright. Might actually make a folder with these. No, that never works. That's kind of cool looking, but no. Too transparent. Wow! That's kind of cool. Hmm. This is a bit hard to look at, but you just have to bear and grin. Hmm. We're almost there. Almost. I've hit the point where I just really would like to finish this up. I've been at that point for like the past 15 minutes actually. What am I talking about? But also, I want to finish this up because I'm excited to see how it'll look finished.
When the light is running low and the shadows start to grow and the places that you know seem like fantasy, there's a light inside your soul that's still shining in the cold with the truth, the promise in our heart.
Actually, I have an idea.
Don't forget, I'm with you in the dark.
No, not from that angle. This angle. Let's set it to subtract so we can see what we're working with. Oh, wow, look at that. That's kind of weird though. Because of the lack of figure below. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that. There we go. That means we need to include this. Yeah, this little one is always a little... Oopsie! No! I just opened Clip Studio! Ugh. Go away, Clip Studio. I don't need you. There we go. There we go. Nah, that won't be necessary. Except I should do something with this. No tangents! Look at that! Wow! I did all of this today. Oop. Eraser. My mortal enemy. Might actually change that color. Yeah, it's better. Actually, I might make it a bit lighter. Look at that! I was thinking of adding a border because I tend to do that. Let's see how... Actually, you can just check right now. Let's see how a border would look. I need to stop doing borders actually. But which one was that? This one does look nice though. I am making alts, so you know what? The border will be fine for an alt. Alright. We're free! Beautiful. We export each individual version. To be perspective 1. Two. Three. And 4. Look at that! Nice! Oh, I'm finally free! Alright. This was nice, but my goodness, my back hurts. Ugh. Jeez. Anyway. I don't have much to say, like no speech for the end, just a bye-bye. Thank you so much for visiting. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed today's stream, because, like, I'm real proud of this art piece. Look at this. It's so good. But anyway, thank you so much for visiting. I hope you have a great day. And as always, farewell.